Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Parent Pod. I'm Amy. Tonight, I am your host, and I'm going to be joined by Lissy Perna from Get Outside Cape Cod. She's our awesome guest tonight, and we're keeping with the theme of getting outdoors and, getting in tune with nature because it's all about the mental health. It's all about keeping up with that fresh air, especially with everything that's going on. It's so good for you, for your kids, for the entire family. We're going to talk about all those things. She's doing an amazing job cataloging some of these great trails that are huge resources for us. A little bit about the Parent Pod. Every week, we are trying to connect you with the community to all of you. We highlight everything from small business owners to local moms and dads making a difference in our community to having some fun. So, it's a little bit of connection, a little bit of fun. We're just rolling with it, right, as we go, because we have such a great community. Just a quick update. So we didn't have any nominations this week to call and surprise everybody. So I'm going to put up our link down bottom really quick. If you want to submit a question for an upcoming guest on our show, you use this link below. You can also submit anonymous confessions or questions for any of us, not even just the guests, but any of the hosts, and we will throw them out there anonymously and discuss those topics. Even if you have a question for us that you don't want to share with your other mom friends or your family, we're happy to throw it out there and get some answers for you. Additionally, we want you to nominate someone who's made a difference to you or to somebody else. We're looking for people who are really deserving of an act of kindness. Your good friends. We want to surprise them with something special. So visit that link down bottom, nominate a friend, submit a question. Who knows? We might just pick someone to be a winner and surprise them live on the show. So we want to see those nominations come in, especially as we go into the summer months, because we're going to have some great prizes coming up. The other thing we have is we're going to have a question of the night, which we'll get to in just a few minutes once we bring Lissy on. And if you want to comment with a question, with your answer to the question of the night, just submit it in the comments and we will enter you into random.org throughout the show. And at the end, we'll randomly select someone to receive. This week, it's going to be a $25 cash card. Plus, you'll get a bumper sticker from both Get Outside Cape Cod and Cape Cod Moms. And you don't have to use it on your car. You can use it on your laptop, wherever else you want. But it's just something a little fun we like to do. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Lissy. And we're going to have some fun tonight. Here she comes. Hi, Lissy. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So for everybody who doesn't know you, you are Lissy Perna from Get Outside Cape Cod. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about you, where you're from on the Cape, family, and what you're doing with Get Outside?
Sure. So my name's Lissy, and I run a little blog called Get Outside Cape Cod. And I am from Brewster. I was born in Brewster, and I live in Brewster currently. So I grew up on Cape, and I spent a lot of my childhood out in nature. That was just our thing. What my family did. We used to walk the nature trails, mostly in the Lower Cape area. Really, is what I was familiar with. And really, it was like my dad that would take us around and, show us all the creatures that we would find in the tidal pools, and like dissecting owl pellets, as you might have seen on my blog there. Just really anything out in nature was what I was interested in. So naturally what ended up happening was when I had kids, that's the kind of thing that I wanted to do with them. So luckily my boys enjoy that. So that's what I do with them. And what happened was, so I live in Brewster now with my husband and my two boys. They're 7 and 4. And they're currently, my oldest is in remote learning because of COVID.
A lot of people are doing that.
Yes. So we're spending a lot of time together. And so as you can imagine, with kids, they get along really well, but at the same time they fight a lot. So they get
No,
yes,
not at all.
it happens. So but they get along a lot better when we are outside. And so that's what I find. We just, get outside and spend most of our time outdoors to, let off steam and
Absolutely. That outdoor, that oxygen, um, you know, I know there's even believers in walking around barefoot a lot. We tend to
Mhm.
do that in our yard at home. We like to walk barefoot just through the grass because there's that nice connection mentally for
Earthing. Yeah.
grounding. But I mean,
Mhm.
I find I bring the kids to Sandy Neck. It's one of my favorite things to do. I drive out there. And they're exhausted at the end of the day. That fresh air, walking around, exploring everything.
Mhm.
And it's a whole different type of exertion of mental and physical energy for them.
Absolutely.
And we need it right now, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah,
mm,
they need that extra, um, you know, way to let out the energy, to blow off steam. I mean, these kids are, learning new rules, whether they're in school or not, wearing a mask or, following certain different rules in the school or, like with my older son, he's on Zoom meetings for school. And it's
oh,
like,
it's so much.
I know. So when he's done with that, it's like he needs to just run. And so we get outside and just go. That's kind of our schedule. And luckily his teacher is so wonderful and knows, like, as soon as he's done with the computer for the day, she's like doesn't expect us to hand in
Yeah.
our classwork right away. She knows we're going off on an adventure right away. So it's
Well,
great.
it's good that this is something. It's so important because there's rising evidence of they're seeing, and it's not classified fully yet, but nature deficit disorder
Mhm.
as a result of. And while technology is great and it helps us in so many ways, we're getting away from not just kids having that time out in nature, but adults.
Sure.
And it's contributing to obvious mental health issues. We've seen it
Mhm.
for a long time, which COVID's just made worse.
Yeah.
A 40% increase minimum since COVID of children under the age of 17 with mental health issues going to our emergency rooms. That, even here, we're seeing it on the Cape. And so things like as simple, and it's free to get
Yeah.
outside to some of these places that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
It's vital. It's I can't stress enough, and I know you feel the same way. I mean, it's so good for them,
Yeah.
for that mental.
It's not a novelty. It's like this is necessary. This is
Yeah,
part of the kid's life. Like play is so important for them, and especially just unstructured play outside where they
absolutely.
can just do whatever they feel like doing. Not, I mean, like I've said before, like, you know, I'm all for playing soccer or t-ball or whatever. That's fun too. But when they can just go outside and play with no rules and make up their own games, or, like my boys like to dig holes. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Digging a
you
hole. It's
know,
like,
I know,
okay.
you're like,
Yeah,
"Okay, let's dig it."
whatever. It's like they're doing that and they're happy with it. So it's cool.
I
You know,
love doing the same thing as sitting on some of the outer Cape beaches and digging my feet through the
yeah,
sand, like,
right.
just to
It's like a
bury them
sensory
and then
thing.
unbury them. I love that feeling of that cool
Yeah.
sand underneath.
Totally. Yeah, I get it.
So this is what kind of inspired you to start this blog and start. So how did you kind of get started? Did you just say, "I'm gonna chronicle these trails"?
Well, so what happened was, like, on my personal Instagram, like I always like overshare. I'm like that mom. I'm like, oh, look at how cute my kids are. Like, I just
We
always
all do
share.
that.
Yeah, I'm that mom. So I'd be sharing like pictures of my kids, like, we'd be going on trails or, finding little animals or whatever. And I would just post pictures. And some of my friends would be like, oh, where is this trail? Or, where is that beach? And, and then I'd be like, oh, it's over here or whatever. So I'd end up be like telling people, this is where this is where that is. So then a couple of my friends would jokingly be like, oh, you need to start a blog. You need to, make a YouTube channel or whatever. And I would just brush them off. But then I finally was like, oh, you know, I can like do Instagram. I know how to make an Instagram. So that's what I ended up doing. And it's kind of like snowballed since then. I thought I was kind of like making it for them, like, hey guys,
But
want to
people love
show my,
it. People love
yeah.
it. And it's a huge resource. I mean, as I've watched some of the things you're putting up, I mean, to see it before and then you're inspired. I mean, to go do it. Like I watch your stuff and I'm like, I need to go do that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
So I mean, it's great. It's
Thanks.
great what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like we're not really doing anything different than we did before, except for maybe like, you know, traveling to the different trails like more often, which I'm just excited about anyway. I'm glad that we're doing that. But it's more, I'm just like chronicling it, like, you know, writing the information down, which is nice anyway for us, because now I have a, you know, like a written diary of what we've done.
It's like
So,
you're collecting a field journal along with your kids of these outdoor experiences, and like you
yeah.
said, they might explore pellets, they might explore animal tracks, they might,
Yeah.
as we're warming up, dare I say it, the dreaded piping plovers are going to start. I love you, piping
I
plovers.
know, they're
Please
so
don't
cute.
lay your nest on the trail this year.
I know.
I really need to get out there. But it's fun. I remember showing my kids last year that they're fascinated by these different types of birds or species of different types of wildlife that they see.
Mhm.
And they ask questions, like really great questions, and a lot of times I don't know the answers to those questions.
Well, that's what started a lot of it, was that my oldest, he asks the best questions and a million of them. So it was always like, what is this? What is it doing? What is it like?
Yep.
Why? And a lot of the
Where does it
time,
sleep?
yeah.
What
And
does it eat?
I know. And I wouldn't know the answer. So, you know, I started like collecting books, and my mom is like, has a million books, children's books and everything, reference books. So she would lend me all of her books, and we just started looking everything up. And so really, like, my son is the one who started to like get me into like learning about like everything that we encountered. So instead of just being like, oh, I don't know, to like, what is that? It was more like, now I'm like excited. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, let's
Let's
figure it
find out.
out. So that's another thing that like I really enjoy doing that now. Whereas
And those types of questions and skills are really important because they're developing that baseline for critical thinking skills
yeah,
later.
yeah,
And that natural curiosity. Okay, what is it? Okay, this is how I find out. I can use all my senses to, scientific senses. Let's evaluate this. What am I observing through? What am I
mhm,
hearing? What am I seeing? What do I smell? What does it feel like? And then, okay, now I'm reading about it, and they make that connection.
yeah,
And those types of skills are going to carry over into so many things later that
yeah,
are needed for them.
yeah. It's really
So
amazing to watch the kid, like, you know, like I keep talking about my older son just because he's older. I mean, he's 7, so I've, you know, been doing this kind of stuff with him much longer, but he's super into like sea creatures and, you know, the flats and everything like that. So like he knows so much about it. We always joke that he could be like a guide out on the flat. And like pre-COVID, like not last summer, but the summer before, he would be like telling people like what kind of crabs everything was, and like, this is a female and this is a male. And I'm like, I don't even know how he knows this, but it's just from like reading his little books, you know, those little field guides that my mom gave us and
right.
everything. It's amazing what they absorb, you know, when they're
Something
interested in something.
so simple and free that you can
Mhm.
just go out into with the kids that are going to have huge impacts.
Yeah,
Huge.
and we have these things right
Yeah.
outside.
And they don't
Like,
cost anything.
no. And I mean, anybody, you know, if you have a car or a bike, or, you know, some people can even walk to the beach, which is amazing. You can just go at low tide to these tide pools and just like poke around, and you can find so much to explore. It's really amazing. I mean, I find it amazing.
It's pretty neat when you
Yeah.
start, and we talked with Mike Morrison from Ride Away Adventures last week about just
Mhm.
there's so many unique places, our ecosystem, our community, it's so great, and there's so many amazing things to see. And once you get out there and you really start to explore it, you start to realize how like unique of an
Hmm.
ecosystem we have, and how it thrives really, and how lucky we are.
Yes.
So how many trails have you kind of chronicled to date, do you think?
I actually, when you sent me that question, I counted them for you.
Yes.
And the ones that I have chronicled since I started doing that, like since I started the blog, I have 62.
Okay.
So I have 62 trails on there. And I try to add like at least one a week. Um, and I'm including trails and like landmarks that have little trails around them.
Okay.
So like I don't know if you saw it, but there's like a in Eastham there's like the Three Sisters lighthouses that
Yes.
are near Nauset Light, and there's the nice little trail that goes from the Three Sisters up to Nauset Light, and it's just a short little trail, but it's something to do if you have like a half an hour, 40 minutes, and happen to be in Eastham, like, hey, let's stop, pull in here, check out these little lighthouses, and walk a trail. Like, there's so many areas like that on the Cape where you can just literally pull off to the side of the road and get some exercise. You know, there's like a little bit of history if you have some older kids that'll like listen or can read themselves the little plaques or whatever. Um, there are so many spots on Cape that are like well taken care of and just easy to access and free like that.
And so, scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now is her website, getoutsideCapeCod.com. And on there, once you go, you can also link to her Instagram and follow her. But she
Mhm.
chronicles all the trails, and Lissy breaks it down. She gives you the picture highlights, but she kind of explains if it's handicap accessible or if it's got different types. I think you chronicle. Do you tell us whether there's animals allowed sometimes? There's
Yeah,
a
I say whether they're stroller friendly
yeah.
or not, and whether dogs are allowed. Um, and stroller friendly is kind of subjective. Some people, like, I'll say it's not stroller friendly, and then I'll have a comment, oh, well, I rode a stroller there. But I try and say, like, if an area has steps or something or excessive routes, I
That
say it's
might,
not stroller
yeah.
friendly.
You gotta
Yeah.
base it for a mom that's not completely at all
Yeah.
hasn't ever had to off-road that baby, okay?
Yeah.
We
But
all eventually do it, but
yeah. So I mark on there like in the mileage, like how long it is. And usually in my description, I'll say like if it's a really easy trail, like for little ones, or if there's some steep hills or something, so people will know like, oh, if they have like a 1-year old, maybe they might not want to take this trail or whatever. Um, just try to give them an idea of what they're going into before they get there.
absolutely. Yeah, you wanna know because you wanna come prepared, right? Especially
Yeah.
with little ones,
Yeah.
because I know how that can be. You overpack, but you wanna make sure you have everything for that type of situation.
Yeah.
So speaking of all these trails, you must have some favorites. And before I ask you about that, I'm going to throw up the question of the night to start scrolling. Um, so we give away a gift card every week, Leslie.
Mhm.
To someone who answers our question of the night or some type of prize. And this week, as you know, we're going to give away a $25 cash card and then one of your bumper stickers and one of our bumper stickers to a lucky winner. All you have to do is comment to win. And you and I, you're going to answer it now. I'll answer it at the end and we will show some answers. So everyone just comment. I'll be answering you into random.org over here and then we'll pick a winner at the end. But tonight's question of the night is, what is your favorite trail on Cape to walk or hike? Walk, hike, however you want to. I walk. Some people hike.
I yeah.
Some people run. No
We have
judgment.
we see mountain bikers on trails sometimes too,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of us just roll down the hill. Okay. There's no judgment here. So just comment in the questions. And if you've never experienced a trail, maybe you want to comment with one you'd like to try, as
Mhm.
Lissy's kind of explaining some of these.
Sure.
So why don't you tell us some of your favorites since you've chronicled all these so
Okay.
far?
So I always say my number one favorite trail is the Wing Island Trail, John Wayne Trail, behind the museum in Brewster. And that's just because it's like the trail that I like grew up going on. I've
Okay.
probably been on that trail like, I don't know, 100 times.
Mhm.
And it's just so beautiful. Have you been on that trail?
I haven't been to the wing one yet.
No,
I've
it's
been Cedar Swamp. I've been up in Wellfleet
okay.
and a couple others, but wing is on my list actually to
Okay.
do for this summer.
Yeah. So one thing to keep in mind with this one is you want to go at like low tide. You don't want to go at like a high tide because there's a boardwalk to cross and it can get pretty muddy and or you'll be walking in some water. But you cross like a boardwalk and over the marsh and there's like an osprey nest and then you walk through the island, which is like a wooded place and there's like a bird banding station out there and it's just so beautiful and then you get to the beach and it's like the bay, so like we sometimes even just walk out there for like a day at the beach and in the middle of July there's like nobody out there, and
Oh, I
we
bet.
go swimming and it's such a nice walk. It's beautiful, so that's my number one.
Number one, right there.
Number one.
Wings Point.
Yeah, and then a couple of my others, Beach Forest Trail in Provincetown.
That's a great one.
Yes, that's probably one of my boys' favorite trails. Like anytime we're in Provincetown, they always like, can we stop at the Beach Forest Trail? Because they love it. Um, it's just like magical in there. The beech trees and their like root systems are so cool. And like right now, not all the time, but right now there's like all these cool gnomes set up in there. Like some awesome person set up all these gnomes in there. It's like a gnome village. But it's really beautiful. There's like a pond. I think it's Black Pond. I
I
forget
think
the
it
name.
is Black Pond.
Black Pond. And the trail kind of goes around there and like up these hills and then there's like this dock with like all these frogs, so that's why my boys like it, the
It's
frogs.
very sensory pleasing, that trail. Like
Yeah, there's
you
a
get a
lot
lot.
to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like it because mainly we've found so many frogs and snakes and stuff. That's really what they're in for, is
Yes.
reptiles and amphibians. But so they love that one, and that's the trail where you see a lot of people feeding the chickadees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know if that's allowed technically. I don't know if you're supposed to feed the chickadees, but that's the trail that people do that
The
on.
people feed them and they're pretty friendly on.
Yeah. So that's another favorite. And then after that, we usually go over to Race Point Beach because it's just right up the road. In the off season, we do that.
And then you can see some whales or some seagulls,
yes.
and there's always some good stuff washing up on that beach.
Oh yeah, that's where we found a lot of buoys on that.
Yep.
And we actually, the last time we were there, we saw a minke whale
Oh, wow.
on the beach. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We didn't know it was a minke whale, except for that someone was photographing it, and we happened to talk to them, and they knew it was a minke whale. I didn't know.
I wouldn't even know the difference from the beach because they're usually so far out.
Yeah, I had no idea. I knew it was a whale, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then another one that we love is the Indian Lands Conservation Land in Dennis. It's on Bass River. So
Yep.
you walk through like there's like marsh views in there. You're on Bass River. It's just really beautiful. You walk through the woods. So that again, there's just a lot to look at. There's like varying environments and landscapes. So I guess that's kind of like the kind of trails that I like, is when it's not just, just woods or just along the beach or whatever.
It's a nice
Like,
mix of both. I agree, because it's nice to
yeah,
have that contrast with
yeah.
kids. It's really visual for them.
Yeah.
Allie shares Kent's Point is one of her favorites.
Oh yeah.
Kent's Point. What do you think about that one?
Kent's Point is my dog's favorite trail, and I love it too. Kent's Point is in Orleans, and it's like a wonderful place to walk. It's so beautiful out there, and it's known for being a great place to bring your dogs. Like if you go there, I swear almost every single person has a dog with them. We used to go there before we had a dog, and just to go there to pet dogs.
Oh.
With the boys, I feel like telling people we don't have a dog, but we want one.
We're just here. It's like when you're a grandmother. I just want to borrow the baby and then give it back.
Exactly.
Just want to pet the dog, get my dog fix in.
Yes.
Nickerson Cliff Pond, Megan says, is a good one. That's a good one. Is that the one that goes through both the woods and then comes out onto the beach along the water?
Yeah, Cliff and then Little Cliff. I don't know if I've ever gone around Cliff Pond. We've done the Little Cliff Pond, but anything in Nickerson is just awesome. We kind of just wander. Sometimes we just pull off on the side of the road, and there'll be like a trail, like a worn pathway, and we'll just start to kind of walk, and there won't be any signs. Those end up being like my favorite trails in Nickerson.
Find and make your own way through.
Yeah.
Michelle says she's going to go try Uncle Tim's Bridge next weekend with their own Uncle Tim. Oh, that'll be fun, Michelle.
I love that.
I do too.
Uncle Tim's Bridge.
I haven't tried that one yet.
We just did that one the other day, and that was really fun for the boys.
What town is that one in?
Wellfleet. It's right off East Commercial Street, and it goes to Hamlin Island.
Oh,
yeah,
that may be a fun one.
And it's a short little trail around the island, but the bridge is fun. Bridges are like,
kid gold.
Yeah, yeah, so fun.
I love the White Cedar Swamp up in Wellfleet. That's probably one of my. I find that to be magical, even in the off season.
Yeah,
I like the enclosed part and then coming out. I find that one to be really, really good. I love BB Woods in Falmouth.
Oh yeah, we love that too.
Yeah, early season though, I like to go like May, June before it gets hot because there's a rope swing down there, and you can actually swing out into the kettle pond.
I read about the rope swing.
Yes, you can't go too late in the season, as everybody knows. Cape Cod ponds, the later the season, the hotter it gets.
Yeah.
You got to be a little more careful, but. Shoulder season, everyone, before everyone's here, that is the time to any of these places with these rope swings. They're it's a rite of passage.
Yeah. And we always like a trail with a hidden swing or something. Yes. There's a trail in Nickerson that has a swing. There's one in Dennis. I think it's Flax Pond.
Yep.
Has a swing there. The Alms House Trail in Yarmouth that everyone was excited about when I posted that one. I think
they're so many people
like a tire swing. What?
Yeah, that exists. Where is that?
That one was fun.
Did you ever do and this would have been a beach hike, the Wishing Tree hike that was down on so it was where Craigville Beach is. You would enter right by Craigville and walk hard all the way towards
the driftwood tree with the shells on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like the best. And then somebody took all the shells off.
I heard about
very sad. They said they were cleaning up litter.
Oh, how is that litter?
At some point, if somebody wants to come on and explain that, I would be happy to debate that one. But that was a really unique spot because people also made rock, and they're still there, but rock sculptures in the water. And
cool.
It's a nice little hike out and back. It's a great spot if you ever get a chance to go, especially to watch sunsets or things like that.
When I used to work at in banking before I had my second child, I worked in Osterville, and I used to walk on those beaches back then. And I think I do remember going to that.
That one, yeah.
It was Craigville Beach. Was it near there?
It's right to the right of Craigville Beach.
Yeah. Okay. I do remember that.
We've actually blogged about it, and so we've on the blog before. We've been very sad since we have so many people asking. They're like, it's not there anymore. And I'm like,
Have to make a new one.
But you know what? People make magical little things on these trails all the time. I've been down to
They
Talbot's
absolutely
Point.
do.
You hike through there to Squirtin Creek, and I've seen people set up the fairy houses along
Hmm.
the trails. And, you know, like you said, they set up gnomes up in the Provincetown Trail. So, you know, there's special magical things wherever you go, you know.
Yeah.
There's just so many cool places.
Yeah.
I love it. What are some of the benefits that you think you and the kids have personally experienced from being able to get outside and do all these things? We've talked a little bit about them.
Just like overall, like mood booster for is like the major thing. Um, I know like if we're having like a day like today, for example, like, it was a rough one. And I had to take a phone call earlier where I couldn't have the boys in the house. So I had my mom help me out for a little bit, and then I pick them up again. I'm like, oh, they're gonna be better because we had a break from each other,
Right.
but they weren't. So I was like,
Oh.
okay. So we ended up going down to a little trail. There's a vernal pool trail down the road, and it totally changed our mood. Like we found a snake, which was like super cool for the boys and me, and everyone was super
I
happy.
probably would have run the other way. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I
Snakes.
know. No,
Ugh.
loves them. It's
I
okay.
try. I try really hard.
Yeah. But like it really does change their mood. And like even when they were babies, like when I couldn't get them to stop crying, whatever, it's like I'd wrap them up and go out on the porch and like stand there outside with them. It's like just fresh air, I think it's underrated. Like
Absolutely.
I think it does so much for us. So just that. Another thing is just like the amount of learning that happens. I mean, my 4-year-old can name like all the towns in the Cape and like knows that he can do the, you know, arm thing and say like Provincetown, like,
He
Truro.
knows approximately where everybody is.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember my mom, who was a teacher's assistant in elementary school, and she would say, oh, there's like third graders and fourth graders who don't know the towns or whatever. So I just always remembered her saying that. And like, here's a 4-year-old that knows where we are because, we talk about it and we say what town we're in or whatever from all the exploring that we do. And I just think that, exploring the world is great and traveling is great, but also there's something to be said about like knowing your environment and being
Absolutely.
out of where you're from and knowing the, the environment where you live. So
There's
start
just
local.
so many benefits. And again, starting local, it doesn't cost you anything except the gas to get there
Yeah.
if you choose to drive. And it's the benefits, the payout of that
Mhm.
low to no cost, right,
Right.
to do it is added mental health benefits, added academic benefits, better communication benefits, nature benefits. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, you could
Right.
delve down into each of those. And, I'm telling you, they say more and more, the more people are out in nature, I mean, they're saying, hours a day is really what's needed.
Yeah.
And it can make a huge difference in how your brain works, how you perceive everything, to have a more positive outlook, to
Mhm.
have better coping skills,
Mhm.
to you look at other cultures too. Like you got Sweden there, you were talking about bringing a baby, just having that fresh air outside. And in countries like Sweden, like, yeah, they put their babies out in like in the cold in the
Oh
winter.
yeah, they sleep outside
They
for
sleep
nap.
outside and nap out there in the cold, and
Mhm.
they're bundled up and they're warm and they're secure, but it's that fresh air, that
Yeah,
oxygen,
it's so good.
um, and again, being in that green forest sometimes, or that ocean air, wherever it is, you're getting a whole different type of, benefit for your soul, your mind, your body, everything. So,
And
again,
just
I love what you're doing, making because you're making it super easy for moms and dads or anyone really to
Yeah.
Go check these out really easily and be informed before you do. Let's show a couple of these pictures too from some of your adventures.
Oh.
Okay, we'll put it down here. So where was this one from, Lissy?
Oh, so that is my boys with my dad, and they're calling the oysters in the Brewster Flats.
It's one of my favorite places, the Tidal Flats. If you've
Yeah,
ever gone,
and
that's
luckily,
put that on the bucket list this year.
yeah. So they love going clamming. Always clamming with my dad. Luckily, my dad is up for having his little shadows do anything with him. So I just want my boys to like learn anything they can from him because I feel like I learned a lot from him, but I like them to learn from the source directly whenever
100%.
possible.
It's good
So
for him
they,
too to pass on that knowledge. And
yeah, and he loves it. He loves it. The attention from them. I know.
I
He
bet.
won't say it, but
And then this one right here is what's the name of this trail this one's from? We were talking about it earlier.
oh, this is the Jenny Lynn Tower.
Yep.
So this is a really funky little tower in Truro, and it's like hidden out in the woods in Truro, and I have the trail listed on my blog. Actually, it's not on my website, it's just on the Instagram. But it's got a really cool backstory. It was like an opera. There was like an opera singer singing in it, and there's like a ghost story involved. It's just really funky, and it's a short little trail out there, and you can just like the woods like opens up, and there it is. And my boys were like, "Whoa! Like it's a castle!" And I was
I was
like,
just going to say, my daughter would be like, Rapunzel's castle.
"Yeah." And
And then
then
you go
like
up in it, or
my
I'm
oldest
assuming
was like, "It's the P-Town Monument. What is it broken?" I was like, "No." So, I mean, it's just kind of funky. It's like out in the woods. Like some guy bought it and had it like shipped, I think on the train. I kind of forget the story now, but it was like
really?
shipped on the train from Boston. Yeah. So it's cool.
All right, we have to add this one. Everybody, I hope you're making your list for listen starting tomorrow because it's going to be like high 50s.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be
Okay,
beautiful.
sunshine, vitamin D. Get out on one of these trails.
Yes.
Okay, this one looks really fun. This was I'm assuming when the ocean was freezing, right?
Yeah, so this was like a few different times over the winter. The bay kind of froze, not completely over like it did a few years ago, but this particular day, I went out with my oldest just to like check it out, and he was walking on all these floating pieces of ice, the ice floes. And we actually spotted some seals way out. And I do have an ice camera, but I don't know how to use it. But so I don't have any pictures of the seals. But there were some seals like resting out there, and it was really cool to watch them through. We had like some nice binoculars. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we go to the beach all year long because there's always something to see out there.
Always.
Yeah.
And then let's hear. Let me throw up the other ones here too. These are some of the other ones you sent us.
Okay.
So this is from this trail's in Yarmouth, right? Is it Yarmouth?
Yeah, this is behind the Yarmouth Port post office. It's the Historical Society of Yarmouth. And there's trails back there. There's a chapel. There's a blacksmith. There's a huge weeping beech tree. And then there's this amazing weechu that's being constructed. And it's so cool. So if anybody has not seen this yet, I totally recommend going to see it. You just walk up the pathway to the right, like when you get to the parking area, go to the right. And it's authentic. Like if you walk around, like it's like bark mats on the outside. it's really amazing.
That's great because it opens up a nice conversation about the native land, and how much history we have here with that, and
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that they're willing to share like the history
some of
and
that
the
knowledge. Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
mean, 'cause
that keeping an eye on the historical society website, because they're supposedly going to have like more information about like if there's going to be like talks or just more information coming out about the We Too. And
that's one to watch for sure because that's a great one.
yeah.
I
Oh,
love this one of the boys in their rain muddy
I
buddies.
love putting them in matching outfits. This was at Fort Hill one day, and I think we were just in Eastham. We were waiting for something. I forget. I think we were waiting for a friend, and like we play in all weather too, just because I cannot keep them inside all day long, no matter what.
Absolutely.
But these are just like rain suits. Like they zip up and they like Velcro on the bottom. And I think we had just got them. We were like testing them out. It was like pouring rain. And we went up to Fort Hill. And you know how like if you drive up to Fort Hill, there's like that parking lot up the top.
Yep.
And there are all these people like sitting up there eating lunch or whatever. And they saw us getting out of the car and they were like giving us these looks like, what are you
What
guys
are you
doing?
crazy?
And the boys were just running around stomping in puddles and they were having the time of their life out there. It was awesome. And I need a rain suit because I just had a rain jacket on and I was soaking wet.
I was gonna say that because my kids have muddy buddies.
Yeah,
It's a
same.
one piece. It goes over everything. They've worn it over snow stuff, but I need one for me because I'm like, I want to be out there kind of splashing in the mud pit
Yeah.
sometimes.
I have like rain pants, but I didn't bring them that day. I just had my rain boots and my rain jacket, and I was like wet and like kind of miserable. But they were like, I'm dry, I'm fine, let's keep walking. I was like, no.
And this is one of the jellyfish I'm seeing that you found on one of the beach walks. The moon, it looks like a moon jelly, actually.
Yeah, it's a comb jelly, and it's actually not a jellyfish, but it's kind of it does look like one. And you can pick these up; they're not going to hurt you.
Mhm.
They're super cool. And somebody when I posted about these, or actually, I think I saw someone else post about these. A local woman, I forget who it was. She said that she knew of a beach around here where, like, at nighttime you can go see them and they like glow.
Really?
Which I knew that they glowed, but I didn't like know of the specific place where you could go check them out. So hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Oh, I need to know when you go do that one.
I know.
I'm gonna have to do a live from
I
that
know. I'll do a
one.
live then.
I like that. Now, what was this that you found? At first, I thought it looked almost like is this a crab?
No, it's actually, I believe it's a dolphin vertebrae.
Really?
Yeah, and vertebra. And I've been finding a lot of them lately.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you can't take them with you, even though we really like to collect all the things we find. But so I just took a photo of it. But I found it on the flats, and it's just kind of cool to find them. You know, initially I found a bunch of porpoise ones. This one was bigger, so we figured it was a dolphin one. But one of my friends directed me to like a Facebook group that was like about like bones and fossils identification. So I posted it to that group, and then they helped me identify it. So it was pretty cool. So just like with the bones and the like a measuring tape, and then all these experts were like, "Oh, that's a porpoise." I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's pretty amazing what you can find out
I
there.
love it.
Yeah.
And obviously, here you saw a pair of turtles.
Yeah.
And what kind are these? Are these
Those are Chems Ridley,
okay?
and they're endangered. And this was from late last fall. I want to say it was in November, because I was walking the beaches like I do all the time. And I actually found, oh, this was the day that I saw some awesome volunteers rescuing a cold stun loggerhead.
Okay.
And those are the really
The
They're
really big ones.
big ones. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, this is crazy. They were like rolling him off on this big, like, sled type thing.
Oh, wow.
And they were leaving, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I got to see that. So I just like kept walking. And then next thing I know, I see this like turtle and like crashing around in the waves. And it was a Kemp's Ridley turtle. And so I called Audubon because these turtles unfortunately get cold stunned.
And then they can't get back out there.
Yeah, because their system shut down. They can't swim. They can't eat because the temperature in the bay goes below 50 degrees. So their bodies really shut down, and they get stuck in the bay. So if we didn't call
Hadn't
it
said
in,
anything. Yeah.
yeah, and there's these volunteers that just walk the beaches. They have shifts and they walk up and down the beaches and they just save these turtles. I mean, I think they saved over 1,000 turtles, or rescued them, attempting to save. I don't know how many survived, but I think it was over 1,000 this season. And I mean, without them, who knows what would happen to the actual population.
Jeez.
So and so I called Mass Audubon.
Are these the same turtles?
These were the same turtles. And I told them, I said, I have a turtle, and they're like, oh, well, put it above the high tide line, because that's the normal thing that you're supposed to do, is move it out of the surf. If you see one, cover it with straw. You wanted to get it out of the water, call Mass Audubon and they'll come get it. So I said, okay, yeah, I've done that. And then they said that they didn't have anybody to come get it right away. And I said, I'm like, I can bring it to you if you want. And they were like, okay. So I got to bring it, and I was like so excited. I'm a sap, but I was like crying because I was like so excited to bring it over. And on my way walking up the beach with the turtle, I found another one. So that's why I had two. So I just took a picture of them in the car in the little box.
And then here's one of your kids with is that a salamander? Salamanders are a big hit around here.
Yeah. So that's my little buddy with his
he looks so
salamander.
happy.
Yeah. So that was that's a yellow spotted salamander, which that's like the first yellow spotted salamander I had seen in probably like 30 years.
Wow.
So this is actually a good time of year to start looking for them. But we had found one, I think that was at the Flax Pond in Dennis last summer. It was just like right on the trail, but it was pretty amazing.
And there's a little close up of him.
Yeah.
Very cool. See, kids love this kind of thing. They love that hands-on part. Oh, and here are the boys at the beach.
Yeah, that was at the Great Dunes Trail in Truro. If you've ever walked, those trails are amazing. You go through the woods, and it feels like you're walking through the woods forever. And then all of a sudden you come up to the dunes, and it's like you're 100 feet up in the air looking out over the ocean. It's amazing.
Oh,
I definitely would recommend those walks.
Yeah, one of the best parts of living on the Cape are coming up over those dunes wherever you are.
For sure.
Jen says the Knob's one of our favorites. Can't wait to try out all these other great trails. I mean, she's given us a bunch. So, Lissy, let me pop up again your website. Tell us more about, do you do group? Were you going to do group hikes? Have you ever done that? What other resources do you have on the website as I put this up here?
Okay. On the website, which I need to update because I think I have to add quite a few. I think I have to add like 10 more trails. I haven't updated the website. But I haven't done any group hikes yet, just due to COVID stuff. But for April vacation, I do have something in the works with Barnstable Land Trust. I think we're going to do a few different hikes that week in the Barnstable area.
Okay.
So, and then take it from there. And hopefully if that works out, we're probably going to do some in the Lower Cape area too. So that's something to do in the future.
Yeah, I can't say enough. Everybody visit her website or check out her Instagram because she like really chronicles these trails and gets great photographs or video footage of doing the trails. I've seen the ones where you speed up the whole trail walk. I mean, they're great. And you can know exactly what to expect, or maybe if you're not well right now and you want to still get that nature and visit her site, you can visually see it and have something to look forward to. Um, Allie wants to know, do you know where the Witta Cannon Trail is, Lissy?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
I
That would be
haven't
new
heard of
for
that
me.
one. That's an interesting one. I would Witta Cannon Trail.
Cannon Hill Trail?
Maybe.
Because the Cannon Hill is the where Uncle Tim's bridge is, but I don't know where the
We'll
Witta.
we'll have to research that one,
Yeah.
Allie. If you have a little more information on it, maybe we can reach out and see if we can track down where that trail is and let you
Yeah.
know. Sarah says your Insta is amazing. We love it. Yeah,
Thanks, Sarah.
it's so visually pleasing. I'm telling you, it's inspiring. You see it and you're like, I need to get outside right now with the kids. I mean, you're doing so many fun things with them. What else do you have up on the website again?
Up on my website,
You have the trails, you have the link to the Insta,
yeah. Oh,
links
I
to
have
Audubon.
I have my stickers and my magnets for sale, which 10% of the proceeds go to the Association to Preserve Cape Cod because that's one thing like that I think is important too. It's like the whole point of this started out to be like, okay, if I'm going to be selling stickers or whatever, it's like I want something like good to come out of this. I'm not doing this for the money. Obviously, I'm selling stickers. But because, where we live, I want kids to go out and, enjoy nature. I want them to benefit from it, but I also want, the Cape to benefit from it too. I want people to understand that we live in this beautiful place, but I want them to be able to understand that like it needs to be protected. You know,
Absolutely.
we want to take care of it. We don't want to destroy it. We like if you follow my Instagram, you might see really ugly pictures of trash that I pick up on the beach. And some people might be like, ew, why are you posting this? But it's like, I want people to see, like, not to like applaud me for picking up trash, but to see, like, hey, you can do this too. Like,
Right.
it's all of our responsibility. And, like, just even a little thing like picking up some trash on your beach walk can help.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's one thing that's on there. Another thing that I have on my bio is like my link tree on my Instagram, if that's what you meant. There's a couple of cool links on there. Is like a feather atlas. So like
Yes.
yes. So like right now is like not a great time to find. We're not finding a lot of feathers out on the trails, but like summertime you'll start to find tons of cool feathers. And it's always like, what is this? But how we ended up identifying feathers was this feather atlas, and it's like all cataloged on this website online. It's
Yeah,
actually
you can
really
just
cool.
match it and it will tell you what bird and a
Yeah.
whole bunch of info about it.
Yeah. And then the other one that's kind of cool is the tracks guide. I think I did a post on it and included that, but you can like, it's muddy season now that it's spring. You might, go to the beach or go on a trail and it's muddy and you might notice some animal tracks. So like there's a little track guide so you can see like who made these
Those are
tracks.
great.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's on there too. It's kind of fun to take a look at.
Allie says the trail she's talking about has two cannons from the Witta somewhere down the Cape, not sure where.
Oh,
We'll investigate this.
yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Lissy's gonna find out where this one is, Allie, and you never know. She might find out in the next week or so when
Yeah.
she's out there exploring.
Thank you for the tip.
Megan is heading down to Truro on Sunday for a couple days with her husband and kids. Any suggestions on things to do outside with the kiddos down there? Let me know. So we talked about a few earlier in the show, Megan. What we want to rattle them off real quick for her again, Lissy?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the Jenny Lind Tower, which is kind of funky, but then there's also the Pilgrim Springs Trail in Truro, which would be really fun to walk. That's on my website if you want to look it up. Or yeah, if she wants to find my Instagram, I can like direct her or tag her in the post.
Absolutely. And that's all in that same region as White Cedar Swamp. Like you
Yeah.
said, the one in Truro, the Provincetown one, that
Yeah.
with all the gnomes. I bet your kids would like that one, Megan, the one
Oh
with the
yeah,
gnomes.
totally love the beach forest one. But if you wanted to do something in Truro, there's the Pilgrim Springs one is really nice, and there's like good views of the ocean and dunes and stuff at there too. So
So as we're wrapping up here, we had a couple of people share with us their favorite place, and I'm gonna randomize them over here right now. We've got Allie, Megan, Michelle, Sarah, Samantha, and Jen who are entered to win one of our bumper stickers each and a $25 cash card. And I'm gonna hit randomize right now. And Michelle G, you are our winner tonight.
Ooh.
Michelle G, with your comment earlier, Michelle Griffin, looking at Uncle Tim's Bridge next weekend, private message me after the show on the Cape Cod Moms page, and we'll take care of getting you one of our stickers each and a $25 gift card out to you. Maybe you can enjoy some ice cream after hiking one of these awesome trails. Before I give Lissy the final thoughts here, that hour went by super fast. But before I give it to her for parting thoughts, just a reminder, so we are here every Friday. Next Friday, we're taking the week off because for us, it's a holiday, and we're going to spend a little time with our family and getting outside, actually, doing some of these trails, hopefully in the good weather. In the coming weeks ahead, we've got Amy Wyman, who's going to come on and talk with us again about Good Grief Cape Cod, but it's really about how to talk with your kids about, as they've lost some things, how to healthily have that discussion. It's okay to vent. Now let's focus on the positive. And so that's going to be a great discussion. We're going to have another fun episode. Melissa and Kelly will join me again. We're going to talk about tips for meltdowns, and we're going to take you through some funny stuff, get your cocktails. And coming up in the next month and in the summer as we line up, we're going to have Chef Rachel Hargrove from Below Deck, Erin Edwards from Upper Cape Med Aesthetics. She's going to do some med stuff on my face. It's going to be fun. We're going to see how that turns out. Laura Malilo and so many more people. Lissy, any parting thoughts for everybody?
um well, put me on the spot. I am just thankful for everyone that has, followed along with me on this fun little journey here, because I started it kind of like as a little joke and it's been really fun, and a lot of people share their stories with me, and I love it when people tag me when they have outside adventures. So if you ever, go on a trail that I've suggested, or even not, even if you're just doing something fun outside and tag me, I love it. It like literally makes me like, oh my God, yes, someone tag me. So if you ever want me to repost you or whatever, or even not, just send me a message. I would love that because it just makes my day. And that's all. And just keep an eye out, because if for April vacation, if you want to come on a trail walk with me and the Barnstable Land Trust, we'll be setting that up soon.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait until we're back to really what is normal and we can all get together and go outside and go on a big hike together and let the kids play. Thank you everybody so much for joining Lissy and I this week. I've loved learning from you. I know everybody else has this week as well. So much information. Visit that website. Moms, dads, wherever you are, remember every Friday, except next week, we are here for you. The hours for you. We're connecting you with everybody that you really, all the resources you need to know on the Cape. Go back and check our other stuff from the past. We'll be back with more stuff Fridays, 8 p.m. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, Lissy. Thanks, everybody. Get outside this weekend. Vitamin D, soak it up. And you know what? We're going to be posting comments all weekend. You share with us where you're at in those comments on our posts on Facebook and Instagram. Tag Lissy and I in them because we
Yes.
want to see you outside and we'll share some fun stuff too. See y'all next week or 2 weeks.